Please welcome back Federico Veiroj.
Thank you.
So, I like that you described the film as a fable when you were introducing it. Maybe we could talk a bit more about, start by talking a bit more about that. It's obviously a film about, as the title suggests, an apostate, but I think what is really interesting about the film is that gesture, the meaning of that gesture of renunciation, and how it applies to so many other aspects and not just religion. I was wondering if that was something that you had in mind from the beginning, or were you thinking about a religious sort of faith, sort of crisis story?
Yes. We knew that that there were so many aspects that the concept of the apostasy could be related to, and we wanted to explode it, to take advantage of it, because in my creative process, I wasn't in the mood or also in the knowledge of making a religious movie. I believe that religion, or to belong a religion, and in this case in Spain, and the meaning of it, which you already all know, or you knew before, the importance of the religion in Spain was going to have more meanings, of course, political, social, and also personal, which are the main, it's my main strength to make the movie about this character, because in a way I believe that this decision, or this intention of putting himself in some place makes him more, I don't know, I mean, he has the possibility to do what he feels, or what he wants. And maybe because of that, it's that I told at the beginning that it was kind of a fable, because I know there's a lot of metaphors, and there's, even if some things that happen are based on things that could eventually happen, I know that it could be related to some more things, and maybe to think about some other situations. Yeah.
Is it actually that difficult to apostatize in Spain? Do you know?
It depends on the city. It depends on the arzobispado. Yeah, that
Archbishop.
yeah, yeah. The congregation. It depends in many things. Of course, for the film, we made some investigation, and the story of the film is based on the character, which is my friend in Spain, his attempt to apostatize from Catholic Church, and he didn't do it at the end, because I mean it was difficult in his case. But there's people who do it, and in any case, what I wanted also to suggest, because in a way this character at the end, maybe in the fantasy, maybe in the real thing, he does it, but it's just for himself. And even if in real life there's people who makes it, what's also, I wonder, what's the meaning also to have the letter sign, you know, you're no longer part of this, because it's something so symbolic also. So those were the questions that we were asking ourselves when we were making the movie, and also when we were investigating, and yeah, and putting ourselves in the place we had to.
So can you talk a bit about working with your lead actor? He's a Spanish friend of yours. He's not a professional actor?
He's not a professional actor. It's his first time on screen, and he's the inspiration of the film. As said before, his attempt to apostatize was the main inspiration.
So how close is he to the character? How much did you draw from his?
It depends, because there's I mean, we wrote a fantasy. We just took 2 moments when he goes and look for the certificate, and then when he talks to the bishop. those two moments that he was relating to me by email with nice letters, and his way of approaching to that issue in his personal life was very inspiring to me. So that was the motivation. But then we constructed all the story, and it's not his story. I mean, it's just that small plot. And of course, if he's the guy who's going to make the main role, there's many things from him that the character took, because it's the same person who lived some situations, and I knew that because of his special way of being, or he's a very special person, and I knew that all the range, the big range of emotion he has in real life, I knew that if I was able to try to show that in the movie, that was good for the film, because I wanted to show all that, the tender aspect, the more violent, the melancholic, the desire. I believe that it's very, for me, very beautiful to see him desiring things. It's also something that I like a lot, his look. So all those aspects were very important for work.
You talked about this, this ambiguity between fantasy and reality, and I think the film, the tone of it is very interesting. It doesn't. There are obviously some sequences that are, you could say, are dream sequences, but the slippage, the film really slips, I think, between these registers and mixes them to a point where it's actually very ambiguous by the end. Can you talk a little bit about, trying to construct the film that way?
The intention and what I thought it was interesting for me to tell this story was the different levels that his attempt to leave the church and to do things with his family and with his cousin were like sometimes constructions in his mind, sometimes no, and in any case, I believe that all those levels were mixed inside that character. I thought that it was a good way of showing that ambiguity, because I also think to myself that I like to be close to him, and also to know what he's dreaming, to know his paranoia, to know his desires, as said. So I felt that it was good to have, in cinematographic terms, to have all the tones, or some of the tones, or some of the timings, or the way to look at something that looks like a dream or not. But in any case, it's a character like everyone here, that we all dream, and we wake up and we do something, and maybe that dream comes at 11 a.m. and then you do things and you think something. So I wanted to be close to that thing, a guy who's constantly working in an inside way, sometimes with his past, which is very important to tell the story of the film, and also with the present life and his desires and the dreams. I wanted it to be all very mixed, and I know sometimes could be confusing, but I don't know, I'm sometimes confused, and it's a sensation that I like, and imagine everyone has it. So I thought that maybe it could be a nice weapon to have complicity with the audience. Sometimes works, sometimes no, I know.
I think this range of tones and moods in the film, I think it's quite amazing for such a short film to have like such extremes, and a lot of it has to do with his performance, as you pointed out. But I think a very big part of it is also the use of music, which I think is very unusual. It's a very, very varied soundtrack. You have many different kinds of music. It's very prominent. It's used in different ways throughout. Sometimes very ironic, and sometimes not. And can you say a little bit about? I know we could talk about the music for like a long time, but maybe just a general thing. And I feel like if you could also address the most memorable one is probably the Prokofiev. At the end.
Yeah, at the end, and at the sequence that the persecution, and that's also Prokofiev. That basically, as we were talking before about the levels of the characters, I thought that there had to be a music related to his past, which is that like more sweet music, orchestra music, and I felt that it was very pleasant, and naturally that music has like a relation to a past, you know, something that could be related to that. And also the Prokofiev music, I think it's more like the invasion or the inquisition and the paranoia and the big world that he wants to go against, you know, like, and it's obviously some like fantasy, you know, it's when you think that something it's bigger than the reality. And then also the beginning of the music, which is Federico Garcia Lorca on the piano, and La Argentinita who sings. I thought it was a very nice way to start the film, because it's, for me, it was a beautiful introduction, because it's a song that you don't know exactly when is this song coming from, or you don't know exactly where it is, but I think it situates or locates the good mood to be in touch with that character and to be on the cinema, you know, and then the rock music also maybe related to his past or with his some harsh character thing that we needed for the film. And since we didn't develop that very much, we needed like a very sequence to give some marks, you know, to stay there. And then there's also a song by Hans Eisler for when he went from to the music that comes before the nude sequence, you know. But yeah, it was the idea to explore in different levels, and as said before, I thought I like those music to be together, because they all constitute the character, you know. I don't think it's something like mild, I don't know how to say it. So, and I know, yeah, it's very different styles, and that's very, very nice for me. I don't know, and I think, I don't know.
Well, we'll take some questions from the audience. Yes? I'll repeat in case people didn't hear a question about when the music choices came into the film. Was it at the writing stage or later?
Mainly all the music was before, at the script stage. The Lorca song, as soon as I knew that it was that song, we even shot that sequence with the music in a radio, I mean, next to the green there. So because I thought it was good for the directing the actor there. But and some other song, the rock song also, we knew that in that moment we needed that energy, and also the sweet music that as you were saying, like more childish. That's music that we took from the Nodos, were the newsreels and documentaries from of the Franco times, the 40 years of Franco dictatorship in Spain. There used to be newsreels and documentaries, the usual ones that we may see sometimes in documentaries in black and white, and making like the first showing of a big building, showing the progress of the country, things like that. And also there were some documentaries about nature or some animals or some regions. And the music, we took it from some of those documentaries, which is very particular, very like special. And I knew them before because I used to work in an archive in Spain, in a film archive. So I got in touch with that music. And I always thought that it was perfect for a film, and this film was made with that music. We knew it, and I think it's very, very special music. And then Prokofiev was the reference for that sequence. We were supposed to work with a composer, but we couldn't because of the budget and timing. So we just stayed with the reference, which is incredible, and we loved it. So yeah, I mean, mainly it was at the script, or if we didn't have the exact song, we worked on the emotion that we needed with the music that we were going to put after. Yeah.
Yes. Question for when did Federico start making films? What were your early inspirations, and do you have advice for young filmmakers?
I started making, I mean, this movie, it took like 3.5 years, and I started making movies, making short films when I was like 18 and doing things with the camera before, but maybe it was when I was 20, 21 that I said that I wanted to make like better short films and to have more like, I don't know, to start working on what I wanted to say if I had something to say in cinema. So it's, I don't know, it's a long time, like 20 years ago, I'm 40. So yeah, this is my 3rd film, and I'm, I don't know, always asking and demanding. I'm very curious, and I'm always seeking for new things. And I believe, and that's connected to the question about the advice, that the curiosity is, I think, very important to make films in general. Curiosity of the world, or of something that someone could be interested in, and also curiosity, the inside curiosity, the internal, because I believe that could be like, in some cases, like the engine to make things, you know. And also, I believe that, I don't know, like always patience to make films is important, because the process are very, very long. And maybe the last thing that I could say is that without passion, there's no need to make films, because also to make films, it's something so unnatural, you know, to you wake up and you have coffee, okay, and then you go to a place and you write what you want to do, and it's not just writing literature, you're writing for something else, and then you have to convince people or to work with people and to explain and to do things that are, it's a creation, you know, it's, the life doesn't go to those places, because you have many other things to do sometimes. But if you have the passion, your thing to do is that. So when it's 5 a.m. during the shooting and you have to wake up, you're not going to say, ooh, a shooting again of my film. So if that happens, it's not good. You have to have all the conviction and the passion and the energy. So when the clock you have the alarm at 4 or 5 a.m., you have the energy and to go, you know. It's just a funny example, I mean, but I want to tell that the passion is the most important thing, I believe.
Yes. I'll try to distill the comment question about the nature of the protagonist's rebellion. As viewer, describe it as the certain politeness to it, and a certain kind of...
I've been accused, especially in Spain, for not killing bishops and people, you know, and for burning the church. They almost hanged me because I didn't do that. No, I'm joking, but sometimes there's people who say that, and it was not my intention or the film's or the character's intention to make a statement against something. What I think the value of this character is the respect, because the respect for the traditions, the religions, and all the social consequences that had the religion in Spain and in his family and in usual life in Spain. That's why I was telling you before that it's a country where religion is everywhere, even in the street, the rocks in the street, the buildings, you see it all the time. So the respect, especially because the education he received was also Catholic, you know, so he's talking to the bishop, and he knows a little bit of Latin. He used to do that when maybe he was 12 or 13, to walk around a patio and talking to a bishop. It's something from his, you know, from his life. He had something. It's not weird. I know now I've got to talk with this man in this place. No, he was raised in colleges where that was part of it, and that's the reason why he wants to live. And there comes again maybe the fable idea of the concept of to try to live something that you fully represent. And that's why the reason he, or in this case, this guy wants to live or try to live. Is it possible or no? Is his education going to be apart from his life after he takes out the thing? No, I don't think so. So that's maybe also the question. And of course, the treatment I choose was, of course, the respect, because I believe this character has respect for that. And it's not a faith crisis. I believe he has a lot of faith. It's something different that has a relation with institutions that in modern times could be adapted to Facebook and to live out Facebook and to be part of something in the same way someone likes to be part of something, someone doesn't want to be part of that or to be out. And I don't know, it's a way of being, I believe. So, and in case it was going to be like a burning movie against the church, I don't think I was the right guy to do it, because I don't think that, and I don't think a religious movie in that way would be my taste for me to make it in any case. Mm.
Okay, we can take one final question. Yes?
Both. Yeah, everything and maybe more things, because in a way his, let's say, past violent behavior sometimes that he used to have, and maybe his cousin brings that past to him, you know, that relation that people who know each other from a long time, the excess of complicity that sometimes could lead to that character. And I don't know, yeah, I mean, that was something that it's kind of a guide, or like something that I want to show about the character, that he's not that, he can be sweet and tender, of course, but he also has that internal violence, or at least he had it, and he's someone who, in a way, he's conscious about that, you know, so I like that. And also I believe that at the ending of the movie puts all those elements together, because he goes there to the church and he looks like a killer maybe, but you know that maybe you can feel, okay, this guy is going to do something, what is he doing? And I don't know, he goes to another place, but I wanted to have that tension sometimes in his look, in his way of talking, and yeah, and also the thing you were saying before about the studies, that he misses the studies and things like that. In my opinion, and as I was saying before about the subject of the film, is not that he's like failing. What he's doing is to give his I don't know, to his personal view of things, and that's why the teacher puts him like in like bad qualification. So he's all the time trying to do things by himself, or among his way of I don't know, his life aesthetics, you know, and that's maybe I don't know, it's a different view sometimes. And yeah, all together.
Great. Well, that's all the time we have but thank you all for coming, and Federico,
thank
you
very
for
much.
being here.
Thank you.